Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. This is Mrs. M. So today I am doing a live Thursday YouTube video. And the reason why I really wanted to do this video is because I was speaking to a gentleman yesterday that was talking about a franchise, not going to mention the name, that he actually uses. And he was saying how much he paid to get a contract that was under $1,000. He paid close to $8,000 to get a franchise contract that was under 1,000 because by the time that was what they promised. I think the first particular contract they promised. And it is when they take out the fees and they take out everything, he's actually making close to about $500 a month. And he was just going into all the things he had to do, what they bid the contract for, and how much time he has to actually spend on this particular contract. And he's definitely in the red. He's actually paying to go in there every day to lose money. And so this is a really smart gentleman. He has had other businesses before. And so I just asked, what made you decide to go to a franchise instead of doing it on your own? And I remember years ago, years ago, I actually bought a clothing boutique and I purchased it from someone that already had it wasn't their building. I basically just rented some space and didn't know very much about retail at all. Just loved clothes. Thought that's all I needed was the love of the clothes to go in there. Didn't know how I was going to get the customers. Didn't understand marketing. Didn't know that being on the different sides of the street, depending on what time they came home from work, would make the difference in if they stopped. If you're on the right side coming home from work, they're going to stop at your business. So by the time I realized this, I'm sitting there in this store with no customers, losing money, paying like $1,500 a month for this space. And then I realized I could have done this on my own. I really didn't need to purchase because I really wasn't purchasing anything. I changed the name of the business. Got rid of all the clothes she had. So I didn't have the clothes. I didn't like the inventory. So basically all I did was buy a space that she didn't even own. So when I listened to him talk about this franchise, and yes, you do get a lot of great ideas. I'm not going to say you don't. I'm not bashing franchise law. It is for some people. But for this gentleman who really just needed one thing, the one thing he needed was what he paid for. And he still really is not going to get that. And that's systems. He wanted to know, what do you do? When do you hire your first employees? What do you do in this order? Order number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. That was the main thing he thought he would get from purchasing a franchise. And what he realized, they still don't give you the secrets on how to create the systems. They give you some things, but you can't go bid on your own. You can't do a walkthrough on your own. You have to let them do the walkthrough and the bidding. So if they're doing the walkthrough and the bidding, how are you going to possibly learn the system? And the answer is you can't. You cannot possibly learn what is necessary, what you need to do to attract business. You're not going to be able to figure that out until you do it. You have to be the one that truly understands what is required to attract business to your company. And I can't emphasize that enough because I've had 3 cleaning businesses that I've been fortunate enough to scale to over 6 figures. And each time when I first got started, I fumbled. I was handing out business cards. I used to go, my thing for getting business was I would get up on a Saturday and a Sunday. I got business cards made because I figured business cards were the least expensive. And I still think this was a pretty good idea up until the COVID probably. But I would get business cards. I'd have my phone number, all my information on it. And I would go to Office Depot, get the business cards. They were like $30 at the time or $25. And I would get like 500 or 600 business cards. And I would literally go into an industrial area, put the card in the door. I would fold the cards up, put them in the door. That was the least expensive way to market because the cards cost $25 or $30. And I would go to places that did not say you couldn't solicit. So I'd go to these places, park my car, and get to walking. I mean, I would walk door to door to door, and I'd take like 1 hour in one large industrial park, taking my cards, putting them in the door. And what I realized was, hi, how are you doing? I have a digital business card. Okay, I understand what you're saying. You have a digital business card. And that was great. This was when I did my first business. So when I did my first business, we did not have digital business cards. So I'm going to get to what I did currently. But then I did the old-fashioned card, put the card in the door. And when I put the card in the door, um, I noticed that when they were calling to ask for a walkthrough. It wasn't like they were calling to ask any other question, but I received your card. I'm interested in walkthrough. So I got action right away. I put the card in there. I'd go on a Saturday because I knew most people would clean Monday through Friday. So I didn't want the current company, if they had one, to throw my card away. So I would go on a Saturday evening around 6 or 7 and Sunday. And I figured that the owner or someone that made the decisions would be the one that would unlock the door. That's why I wanted to put the cards in the door, because the decision maker or the secretary, but someone of authority, would usually be the one unlocking the door. And usually it was the owner of the company. So I wanted to get directly to them. And you would be surprised. I got more business from that particular marketing than ever, because I knew I didn't do anything. I put the card in there and they followed up. Now, I said that to say that now what I did when I grew this last business to 6 figures was I started building emails, email relationships. Getting their email address was the same as giving business cards. When they would email me by my website, they were ready to get a quote. They weren't ready to ask a lot of 50 questions. They wanted me to come right in. When can you come give us a walkthrough? So I said all that to say the one thing you have to have is a system in place to get business. So when people would go to a franchise, they are actually catching the fish for you. They're not literally teaching you how to fish. And I say that because if you don't know, if they give you one fish at a time and another fish at a time, you really don't know all that's involved in what you need to do to land your walkthrough, to do the bid, to gather what numbers, how are the numbers looking? This gentleman mentioned to me yesterday when he went in there, he knows that that place is at least 6 to 8 hours of cleaning. They have it at 4 hours. So if you want to be completely in control of your business, this is the one thing that I'm going to share with you that really, really, really makes the difference between running around, maybe making maybe $18,000 or $20,000 a year, maybe 30, to seriously being able to have a business where you are in control, you know what's needed, you have figured out what works and what doesn't. And let's be real, on the internet, we can find anything. When I'm giving you these tips, the goal is to give you actionable tips with content that you can implement in your business immediately. That's the whole point of this channel, because I have been there and I know how frustrating it is. You're going here, you're doing this, you stall out, you think this works, it doesn't. And what you're losing is time. So my goal is to give you the shortcuts. Yes, you could go and you could find this information on how to close. You've got to go to this website. Then you've got to go to this other website to figure out what do you need to put in as a lead magnet. And what is a lead magnet? What does that mean? How do I find a lead magnet? Is it a call to action? What is a landing page? All of this information is my goal to give to you in one location so that we actually cut the learning curve. That's the point. Cut down the learning curve so you can have actionable items you can implement immediately. So the one thing I realize that a lot of people who purchase franchises or who are confused about what to do in their business, the number one question I get are, where are the contracts? How do I find the contracts? Because let's be real, if you do not have the contracts, you're not going to have a business. You can have paperwork and shuffle it around and employees and really pretty van, and you can have uniforms and the whole nine. But if you're not making any money, you have a hobby. It's just a hobby. A hobby is something you love doing, but you're not making any money. That's it. So if you're not making money in your cleaning business, you have a hobby. And the goal is to take it from a hobby to an actual viable business model that brings in money. And the only way you're going to be able to get that, to really be able to get that money in on a regular basis, is one thing: systems. Systems, a system for everything in your business. And why do people not implement them? It's because they think it's hard. It's hard to get the system. It's hard to figure out the training piece and the invoicing piece and the customers. And this gentleman was talking about, he's only going to clean once a week. In this particular building, it's very large. So they're in there cleaning, and he's already supposed to have 4 hours only. And now he's into 8 hours of cleaning. So like I said, he's paying people to actually go in there. He's paying them to do the work. And that concept may sound crazy, but if some of you look at your margins, your profit margins, or what are supposed to be profit margins, By the time you look at the time that it takes, the gas, the energy, the equipment, the supplies, the insurance, the uniforms, by the time you look at all of that information, you're going to see that you're probably paying someone to go in there and work for them instead of making money. So I said all that to say that the today's equivalent of a actual card that I used when I first got started years ago is the equivalent of the email address today. I cannot emphasize how important it is to grow your business by having individuals come to your website, ask for a quote, call you up, ask for a website, and be able to make that change. So I have a question and I put it on a magnet, and when I'm driving Lyft, I give them out. That is an outstanding thing to do. Giving out business cards, whether they are digital or whether they are the old fashioned way, is one of the least expensive ways to have, like you just said, Freeman, financial freedom. The whole goal of going in business is to be able to decide, okay, Wednesday, I don't want to work in the morning. I want to work that Wednesday night because I've got something I need to do with my children, or I just want to sleep in, or it's raining and I don't feel like going out. When you have individuals that are working for you in the business and you're working on the business, and on the business means you're doing the things that bring in the core money, the advertising, you're figuring out how you want to do your business model. You're looking and talking to the customers. That's working on the business. In the business is doing the actual cleaning. It is a challenge. I remember one time we went to go clean on Capitol Hill. It was a large building. It was probably maybe 100,000 square feet. And I got this building and I was so excited. And so then I said, okay, let me go on Craigslist and hire the workers because I didn't have enough workers for it. It was like a one-time thing. Really excited because I knew if I did well on this, I'd get other government contracts. So I was really excited, went in there and hired the people. And I'm just working because that's what I had started out doing. I worked in the business and I realized while I was working in the business, someone on the other side was in their sleep or someone was sitting down. But in other words, you can't work in it. I'm doing the work. So my head's down. I'm in it. And then someone else is doing something else because you can't do both. It is impossible to effectively work in the business and on the business. So your goal in starting a business is financial freedom. With the majority of the individuals that are here on this channel, that is my goal, to show you actionable steps. And I talk about daily habits, and you have to be consistent and persistent. And you know what? It has to be where you have, like, there's this one thing where they talk about someone took a boat, they burned the boat because they said there's no going back. When you make it where there's no other option, this business is going to work for you because you love the passion of owning a business. You want to be in this particular industry, which is cleaning. You want to service other individuals to make their lives better. So you've got a reason why you're doing it. When it gets tough, you dig in deeper. You do not give up. And before you realize it, if you put systems in place, you will be surprised how you start to get one customer and another customer and another customer. And you're able to be selective of who you want, how much you want to position. You're able to ask for more money what someone else is going to ask for $1,000. Believe it or not, you're able to ask for maybe $3,000. This other gentleman was talking about he was subbing for a company. And I know they're a large company, and they were subbing floors to him to do serious work for probably, they were keeping 80% and giving him 20. But they know there's a market out there for individuals that really want work. So guess what? They're going to go ahead and give you these really, 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 really low prices to do a lot of work. So that way they know that there's someone out there that would do it for that price. And you don't want to be that someone. You want to be able to say, no, I don't want this. You're in the position to be able to say that. Why? Because your business is kicking butt. You are doing the do. And so the goal today is to set systems up. And the reason why, when I ask individuals, why do they go to franchises? Because they say, I don't know how to set up the systems. I want someone to show me. I don't want to have to go through all that. And I get it. Some people have more time than money, or they're afraid. There's a lot of fear in there. They don't want to make a mistake. So fear will get a lot of a reaction, and it's not always the best kind. I get the fear. Trust me, I've gone through it. I first got started, I was afraid that what if, payroll is more than what money I have, or what if the customers complain and, we can't satisfy them. I what if myself to death. What if one of the employees get hurt? Workman's comp is really expensive or whatever. But I realized when I went to someone else's job and I'm in there and I'm having to stay all day long and have to have that little bitty time for lunch. And I was working at an office, sitting down every day. I imagine I did take a part-time job at a warehouse. My God, that work is hard. I'm serious. That work was hard, physically taxing. I'm working all day standing up. You've got this clock, you got to clock out at a particular time to go on break. You can't be not 1 minute late coming back from break. Guess what? They have systems in place. So you're running in, you're running out, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you're doing this for someone else, and you get your check at the end of the week or 2 weeks. It's like, oh my God, really? I did all this for this? That's when you start looking at what you can do for yourself. So I actually created this channel for you to give you systems that you can use in marketing, how to hire your employees, when to hire, how to train. All of your business has to be on a system. That is the one thing you must implement. And if you want assistance with implementing systems, then make sure you come to my masterclass. I have several masterclasses with various subjects, but this particular masterclass is pretty much what I just went over. Anyone that is looking to go to six figures or, beyond that, and you see some cleaning companies are making 5 million, 7 million, 8 million. Some are making, 2 million, 1 million. I mean, then there's other that are making, 40, 30, 40,000. And if that's all the money that you're interested in, because maybe you work somewhere else and this is just something for you like a side hustle, I get it. But if you're listening to me and you know that you need to take care of and want to pay off your house, you want not to have a mortgage. You don't want to have a mortgage. You want to be able to buy your car cash. You want to be able to invest in your community or have a stock market portfolio. This is what six-figure cleaning businesses do for you. They are able to create a lifestyle like you would not believe. And you do have to put the work in. It is not an overnight thing. It's not like it's just going to happen like that. You have to put the work in. But when you put your systems in place, that's where you start to see the difference, because you start getting customers coming into you. They start coming in and you are able to grow. So I truly understand that we have someone that's saying how much they charge. They are in a great position. Kudos to you, Freeman, for being able to charge the money you do. And yes, I truly believe that she mentioned something about TaskRabbit. Being on TaskRabbit is really great. And I truly believe you're in control of that. So individuals that are interested in creating systems to grow their cleaning businesses, like I said, make sure you click to subscribe. It's going to be in the description link on what you need to do to register for the masterclass. It's only about an hour and 15 minutes. And I am a time person. I'm really into time. I look at the time really. I like to make sure, because that's the one thing you're never going to get back. You can get the money back if you lose it and all that, but time you will never, ever, ever get back. And if anything more during this COVID time frame, we realize how important that is. There's things that we just never really knew what was going on. And the masterclass is free. The masterclass is free. The goal is to give you actionable items that you can implement. And what I love doing is, because I've been fortunate enough to make the mistakes, fumble, do what I needed to do, and then get back up. And then there are days I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, because I had customers complaining and employees quitting. And I remember one day I had people had to get rid of, and I liked them. So I had to figure out, I'm going to fire them. Because what? I have a system. I was just hiring people willy-nilly, and I'd get a job and I put them on the job, and I didn't know if they could do the work or not. And I'd pay them money. I really didn't know how much to pay them or what was going to motivate them. It was a mess. And then I just started to say, okay, either I'm going to do it the right way or I'm not. And I went through quite a few years. And the first time I got really fortunate, I grew the business pretty quickly, but I didn't know what I did. So the way is you can repeat it. I just went out there and got fortunate, got lucky. I was like, okay, I got luck. I was fortunate. And I was in the right place at the right time. And people were asking me, can you come clean? And because I was really, really detail oriented, I was able to kind of hone in on that. But I still didn't have a system in place. And I really couldn't tell you what I did. And then I started to understand, this worked. But it took time. It took a while to figure that out. I was able to scale the first one pretty quickly. But once again, I didn't know what I did. I just kind of passed out business cards and get someone to call. And I was pretty good at the bidding, but I still didn't have the systems in place. And I realized that when I went away for a couple of weeks and everything came crashing down. I didn't lose the business, but I got a lot of complaints. The employees weren't happy. They weren't doing the, filling out the sheets, and doing what they need to do. In my mindset, well, these are grown-ups. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're grown like me. I don't have to, where are you going? What are you doing? I have to go through all that. But I realized nowadays you've got GPS, you've got automation in invoicing. But once again, it's about a system. So the goal is for you to get your systems in place. That is the only way you're going to be able to get out of working in it, working on it, growing 6 figures beyond, having the fun, being able to do what you want to do within the time restraints of your business, and having the financial to do the same thing. So if you're interested in learning systems, why they're important, how it is a must to put them in order in your business now, then make sure you register for the free masterclass. Like I said, it's about an hour and a half. I love energy. So I'm on there like, okay, come on, let's go. So I love people to tell me where their challenges are, what they're interested in gaining, and I make sure that we get into it. We get into it, down into it, into the nitty-gritty, okay? So it's going to be in the description below. Click onto it, register for the masterclass. Hope to see you there. But if you do not, then make sure you do one thing in your business today, right now, that's going to get you to the next level, okay? Okay. So, and yes, I am still in the cleaning business, and I teach the cleaning business. I do have cleaning businesses that I am involved with, and I do teach it. So that way I like to make sure that I had a question as, am I still in the cleaning business? I love to make sure that I'm doing actionable items that are relevant, not something years ago, because what worked years ago does not work now. Doesn't work. The number one way people are finding cleaning companies are on websites. And you want it to be yours. You want to keep all the money, your website, drive the traffic, get them to sign up. You build a relationship. Next thing you know, they're like, when can you come work for me? When can you work for me? You've got so many contracts. You're like, wait, I don't know what to do. So seriously though, make sure you register. Looking forward to seeing you. And until then, please be safe, take care, and bye-bye.